As you age from 20 to 30 and 40 plus, the game of building muscle changes. So as the years roll by, you have to start doing things differently to maintain your muscle mass. However, there are many misconceptions out there. But stay tuned as we will sort fact from fiction to go through the best steps to take so you can continue to build or retain muscle mass as you age. To start with, you can totally build and keep muscle mass even after you hit your 40s. There's a term called sarcopenia, referring to age-related muscle weakening. People used to think it kicked in around your 30s, but now we know that most folks only really start losing muscle mass around age 50, and it's not a lot, like just half a pound a year. Plus, it's often more about not moving around and living unhealthily rather than just getting older that makes your muscles shrink. If you stay in shape, stay active, and eat right, you can hold onto your muscle mass for a long time. Some studies even say that if you're between 18 and 39, your age doesn't really stop you from building muscle if you do strength exercises. And get this, a study on high-level older athletes found no significant loss of lean body mass or strength from the age of 40 all the way up to 81 years old. These findings challenge the common belief about inevitable muscle loss as we age, showing why it's important to maintain an active lifestyle at all ages, rather than using your age as an excuse. Another myth you may have heard is that you need more time to recover between workouts as you get older, but that's not entirely true. Even as you age well past your 30s and 40s, you can pretty much train as often as you did before. Sure, recovery capacity can go down as we age, but not as much as you think. In fact, some studies actually show there's no significant difference between young groups and elderly groups when it comes to recovery capacity. For instance, research shows that while individuals in their 60s take more time to regain muscle force after a workout than individuals in their 20s, the older group actually experienced less muscle soreness the next day. So just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to train less purely from a recovery and performance perspective. You can keep up your regular workouts and continue to push yourself just as you did in your younger years. Now, one thing you want to change as you age to maximize muscle growth is to adjust your reps range. Especially if your joints are starting to give you some trouble. Research shows, if you're over 30, lifting light or heavy weights produces similar muscle growth, as long as you are pushing yourself to near failure. But, here's the twist, once you hit your 40s, shifting towards higher reps training might be the golden ticket. Why? Well, blame it on the aging process. Your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for explosive movements, start to shrink and lose their nerve connections as the years roll by. As you age, you lose up to 60% of these fibers. This is why you become more slow-twitch dominant when you get older. Slow-twitch muscle fibers are better at performing higher reps with lower weights and are also trained most effectively in that fashion. So, rather than pushing heavy, low-rep sets, consider incorporating higher reps training, aiming for at least 10 reps. Now that's not to say you can never lift heavier, low-reps weights, especially if it doesn't seem to bother your joints. But it's better to focus on more controlled reps, not just to avoid injuries but also due to the losses in motor efficiency. Research actually shows that older people fatigue faster than younger people when they do explosive reps, but not when they do moderate or slow reps. So from a muscle building and joint health perspective, as you age it's better to focus your training on slower reps. You can also look to implement more eccentric training into your workouts, which are beneficial for maintaining strong connective tissues so that you can reduce your risk of injuries. For example, you can do slow negatives on a bench press with a partner that assists you on the way back up. There are many other techniques that you can apply to other machines to incorporate eccentric training as well. Research also shows that older people benefit from an increased volume compared to younger people. For example, one study found older people experience a greater increase than younger people in protein synthesis when doing 6 sets instead of 3 sets per workout, per muscle group. Another study discovered that older trainers have a positive relationship to training volume, with no evidence of experiencing negative effects at those higher volumes. So just because you're getting older, you shouldn't use that as a reason to train less. So, in addition to training at a higher reps range with slower movements, you should also increase the number of sets to do as well, to continue to build muscle. Now when it comes to your diet, you want to adjust your protein intake. In your 30s or 40s, it might not be a big concern. However, as you go beyond your prime, you might encounter something called anabolic resistance. This is when your body experiences a reduction in the rate of protein synthesis after meals and strength training. While this isn't great for building muscles, the good news is it can be managed simply by increasing your protein intake. This is due to the fact that a primary cause of anabolic resistance is that the leucine threshold increases, meaning that you need to consume a higher amount of the amino acid leucine to maximize protein synthesis compared to younger individuals. For example, a study found that while young individuals saw no additional boost in protein synthesis beyond 20 grams of protein after weightlifting, older people demonstrated a notable increase all the way up to 45 grams of protein following resistance training. Despite this fact that you need more leucine as you age, your total daily protein requirements don't actually need to change with age. I know that may sound counterintuitive, but the strategy to counteract anabolic resistance involves consuming fewer, but larger protein meals. For seniors, this means aiming for at least 0.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight per meal. By adopting this approach, you can ensure you meet the leucine threshold with each meal, effectively overcoming anabolic resistance. So, a higher protein intake per meal suggests that 2 to 4 meals a day are ideal for older individuals, instead of eating smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. I must note, this is a gradual process. You won't immediately experience anabolic resistance the moment you turn 30 or 40. For many, it starts much later. But it's smart to be aware of it as you get older. So now you have all the tools to continue building muscle well into your later years. Be sure you subscribe to the channel to become a part of our club, and I look forward to seeing you next time.